Hi guys, it's me, Carey, the food director at Martha Stewart. I thought I would make you guys a rhubarb crumble today. It's one of my favorite things to make at this time of year because I usually get to pick rhubarb at my mom's house, but she sold her house, so now I have to buy rhubarb. Anyway, I'm going to start off by making my rhubarb mixture so it can sit for a sec. The recipe itself called for 1.5 pounds of rhubarb. I don't have 1.5 pounds, I have 8 ounces. So I'm going to use 8 ounces of rhubarb, this one apple that I found, and then I'm going to fill in around the edges with these blueberries and raspberries because that's all I have. It's kind of it's the end of the week and I have gotten to the end of my fruit. So cut up your rhubarb, trim the ends off. Obviously you guys probably already know this, but rhubarb leaves are poisonous. Not that most people would be tempted to eat rhubarb leaves because they don't seem delicious, but don't eat them. Trim them off. Wash your rhubarb, dry it, blah, 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 all of that. And then this gets cut into pretty thin slices. Now, the recipe that I'm using originated as individuals, and I'm actually making it in an 8-inch square instead. So I probably don't have to make it as thin because those pieces, 1/4 inch thick slices, were so that it would fit into a smaller dish. So I'm gonna do, I would say something like closer to 1/2 inch thick. Being exact here is really not all that important. I thought I sharpened my knife. I don't know. This rhubarb has been sitting in my refrigerator for at least a week. It's 2 shopping trips old. I shouldn't admit that, but well. This is the truth bubble, you guys. I am going to make a total of like 5-ish cups of fruit mixture. So I'm gonna measure it all into this cup so that I can keep track of it. Then let me peel the apple. This is not the normal kind of apple that I would bake with either. This is, That's my hallmark, is not removing the plastic sticker and then just going ahead and using the fruit anyway. I do it all the time. My wife Marianne likes to joke that they do it with lemons. This one actually I did remove the plastic sticker and then just like wash them but leave the sticker on and then put them into our beverages, like when I make a Campari Spritz. It's my hallmark, you guys. Ay, ay, ay. Peel the apple. I have some very, very attentive guests at this shoot. These are like so adoring. I'm gonna cut the apple into pieces that are sort of a similar size. So instead of slices like I would do for an apple pie, I'll just do sort of a 1/2 inch dice. The rhubarb smell. It's so springy. It smells like super fresh. It's one of the most fresh smells. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my childhood smell. We grew rhubarb when I was growing up, and the rhubarb that's in my mom's garden, which she doesn't have anymore because she sold her house, the original rhubarb came from my great-grandfather, my father's grandfather's garden. So it's kind of nostalgic. I'm thinking that I need like a total of about 5 cups of fruit. Like I said, this is a 4-cup measure. I'm at about 3 cups right now. So I'm gonna take some of this. I've never really mixed blueberries with rhubarb, but it's what I have. So I'm gonna use it. Oh, blueberry. Blueberry for dogs. That's what they get for being so attentive. So that's about 5 cups. I can tell you guys are freaking out right now because I'm being so inexact. That's the thing about this kind of baking. It doesn't even need to be that exact. Baking is a science, but not stuff like this. This stuff is actually quite forgiving. My original recipe uses orange zest and juice, but I'm going to use some lemon juice instead. Rhubarb is tangy, so you don't need a ton, but I don't know, I'd say that was about 2 teaspoons. Add some salt, maybe a half a teaspoon of kosher salt, also a flavor enhancer. My original recipe uses, I don't know why I did this, I was in a phase, this was from 2005, you guys, this recipe. It uses instant tapioca, which I don't have, and I'm just gonna use 2 tablespoons of cornstarch instead. Just 2 tablespoons of instant tapioca. My general rule for thickening with cornstarch is for every 4 cups, I'll use 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. This is 5 cups, but because it's having a crumble topping, which has flour that's like gonna ooze into the filling a little bit, I don't feel like I need to thicken it quite as much as I normally would. This is only just very slightly less of a ratio. So that was 2 tablespoons of cornstarch for 5 cups of fruit, and then it's 1 1/4 cups of sugar, which might seem like a lot, but remember that rhubarb is really tangy, raspberries are actually really tangy, and blueberries, especially right now, are really tangy. So 1 1/4 cups of sugar. Boom. Give it a stir. And you can just let this sit. Actually, you can just transfer it right into the baking dish and let it sit. Seems like a lot. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave it in the bowl so I can stir it around a couple times. I'm gonna add a little bit more first. There we go. That seems like it's gonna fix everything. This was the ratio of sugar for almost completely all rhubarb, like 1.5 pounds, so it's only 8 ounces. Now I'm gonna make the topping. 6 tablespoons of room temperature butter. Should I do a little bit more? I'm gonna do, just follow the recipe. 6 tablespoons. And then, let me look at my trusty recipe. 1/4 cup of brown sugar, some orange zest, which I'm gonna skip, and a cup of flour. Really easy, extremely straightforward topping recipe. You can make it different by adding oats, you can add nuts, you can add coconut, you can do anything like that if you want to, but I'm gonna just keep it straightforward, I think. Well, you know what, as I'm saying that, I'm like, well, like maybe I'll add a little bit of oats. I'm already deciding that I want to make a change, so I'm gonna go get some oats. Because I'm adding some oats, like I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of oats, I'm also gonna have to up my sugar a little bit, and I'm gonna have to up my fat a little bit, so I'm gonna go with 7 tablespoons of butter and 1/3 of a cup of sugar. I need a bowl. Back to business. 1 cup of flour in a bowl that I can already tell is way too small. I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. If you're using regular, fine, like table salt, use 1/4 teaspoon. Give it a little stir. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of oats for fun. It's so funny the way you change, right? That old recipe called for a pinch of salt. I would never use a pinch of salt in anything anymore. Then the butter goes in, and then you just work it in with your fingers. Sometimes I add a little bit of leavener, like a little bit of baking powder to, I forgot the sugar. Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm so distracted. I keep my brown sugar in a quart container like this, and I take the plastic that it came in, the plastic that goes inside the box, and I just put it on top for extra, so that it doesn't get dried out. It works well. It especially works well if you actually close the top. So this is a heaping 1/4 cup. Close the top, otherwise it gets really dry and it gets ruined. What is he doing? Anyway, not important. I'm gonna work the butter into the dry ingredients with my fingers. This is basically the same thing that you would do for pie crust if you were making it by hand, or biscuits. What you're looking to do is get a mixture that's completely moistened by the butter and that can sort of clump together a little bit when you sprinkle it over the top. You want all of the dry ingredients to have come into contact with some of the butter. That's what makes it a topping instead of just dry flour sprinkled on top of something. Okay. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Do it before you start doing all this so that your stuff is ready. Put the fruit into the baking dish. Thinking this is gonna be a great size for the amount of fruit that I have. God, I'm so good. Even it out. Then just sprinkle your crumb mixture on top. I like to squeeze it in my hands into kind of biggish clumps because I like big clumps. Luckily for something like this, timing isn't super duper important, so the fact that my oven isn't preheated and my crumble is ready to go into the oven is kind of okay. It's not like a batter that has baking powder in it where it's starting to rise, or a yeast thing or anything like that, so it's really not a problem. So I'm just gonna wait for the oven to preheat and then this can go in. It doesn't take that long, so come back in a few minutes. So it can go in the oven. This is gonna take about an hour to bake, I think. We'll see. Check back in an hour. No, you don't have to wait an hour. Oh, bubbly. Bubbly. Okay, taking it out. Should be bubbling pretty aggressively all the way into the middle. Golden brown, bubbling in the center. If it's not bubbling in the center, that means that the fruit hasn't fully come to a boil, which means that the cornstarch isn't activated, which means that it won't be thickened. Not like there's gonna be anything wrong with it, but it'll be a little bit loose and not really like unctuous and delightful. So make sure that you check for the bubbling in the center. The golden brown is also a good indicator, but really it's about the bubbling. That's it. That's my rhubarb berry apple crumble. Happy baking.